Hey guys, finally getting around to redoing this tutorial. I had done it before, but I wanted to wait to receive my cutter for the pens. Don't mind my gloves. My hands are really sore today from doing beads. Okay, so this is a tutorial to show you how I have done these pens using air dry clay. There's a couple of examples. Hopefully it's zooming in on that. So I've just used white clay. I think for the most part what I've seen in the stores for air dry clay is it's white. You could use mica powder, paint. You can use different things to color the clay. So this one I added mica powder to the clay, and you can see I tried to match the color of the pen. So what you're gonna need is some air dry clay. I'm using Sculpey air dry porcelain clay. I bought this at Desserts. I think they have it on Amazon as well, but it's a little bit more expensive. I'm using obviously pens. I have a container of different little charms and embellishments. I have my clay cutter, which is the exact size that we need for a 2mm cut of air dry clay that will wrap around the barrel of the pen perfectly. And I'm just using an acrylic square, and I have a silicone mat on top of my desk mat. So what you're going to do, now this clay dries incredibly fast, so you need to only take out what you're going to use and then put it back. So I'm just going to break off a chunk here, about like that. And just wrap it back up. You're gonna want like a real airtight container to keep your clay in. Otherwise it'll dry out on you. You can also do this with polymer clay. I'm gonna do that in a separate oven baked polymer clay. I'm gonna do that in a separate tutorial because there's a little bit more to that. So if you don't have a clay flattener or like a pasta roller, pasta maker, this silver thing that sits on your desk that you crank the handle and it flattens the clay, you can just use a regular rolling pin, like a clay roller, the clear acrylic ones, until you get it to about a 2mm thickness. So I'm just going to flatten mine real quick. Pasta rollers, they're not very expensive if this was something that you were going to do on the long run. So I just flattened mine out. It's 2mm thick. So I'm going to take my cutter and I'm going to press it down and make a rectangle. Peel my clay back. And then I'm going to make another one for my second pen. And then I'm gonna put this back in my package so that it doesn't dry on me. Okay, so now we take one pen and we're just going to apply the clay to the one side and wrap it around. You can flatten it around the top, make sure it's lined up around the bottom, and you should have an even layer of clay going across your pen. And I'm gonna do the second one here. See, it's already starting to dry on my on my acrylic thing. That one's a little bit lopsided now. Let's see. Should be okay because we're gonna put embellishments on it anyway, but yeah. These cutters are available on my website. My website you can find on my Facebook page. The name of my company is La Petite Anglaise. So it's http://la-petite-anglaise stoneham at .square.site, but it's on my Facebook. You can find it there. Okay, the other thing that you need is some glue, which I conveniently forgot to get out. So I use LePage super glue, the ultra gel. I really like this because it's not as runny as regular super glue, and it works well for a project like this. So what we are going to do, just gonna push this up because I don't want it affecting the opening of my pen. There we go. Okay, so now you're gonna pick out a variety of charms or embellishments. I'm gonna use these big flowers. This one, because this one has a hole in it. It's white and a green. So I'm just going to, with my glue, I'm gonna just mark with a tiny dot where I want to put those flowers. 3, 4, and we'll put another one here. So then I'm just going to press into the clay with the embellishments where I put my dot of glue. I'm actually going to move this one a little bit down right there. There. So I started with the biggest one that I wanted to use, and then I'm going to work my way down so that I'm just filling in spaces at this point. I really like these little tiny flowers. I'm going to use some of these. I have bows. Like, there's a lot of really cute embellishments you can get. They're often called nail charms. I guess people use them when they decorate their nails. There's another one. If I can get some different colors, there's blue. Start with that. So then again, I'm just going to take my glue and I'm going to just dot where I want to put the smaller flowers. Okay, and then if you have a wax tool or a wax pen, can use that for picking up these smaller flowers, and you're just going to push them into the clay where you left your dots of glue. And I might add one more right here. These would probably stick to this without the glue, but I just prefer to make sure that they don't fall off. Okay, so there we are so far. And I'm going to pick one more smaller flower. I have these. These ones here. And I have these. I also have like little, you can use like little rhinestones, you can use, I have like these shiny circles, could use those. For this one, I just want to do the flowers. I have seashells, more bows, I have little hearts, lots of options. One more. So again, I'm going to mark where I want to put these with my glue. Let's try that. Whoops. And we need one more. This one. Yeah. Oh, there's two. There. Well, that's how it's looking so far. Now, I also have these little tiny mini flowers, which I'm going to try and put into the holes. I also have some little white rhinestones that I'm going to put on as well, just to give it a little bit of a sparkle. And here, here. So I'm just using these tiny ones. And I'm basically just trying to fill in the holes. One here. Okay, and then I'm gonna get my white stones, which are here. So these are just little crafting rhinestones. We're almost done. And so again, I'm just going to add some glue where I want to put those. Give it some sparkle. And then we should be done, and we'll just let it dry. Let's see if we can stick one in there. All right, let's see. My children are fighting in the background, if you can hear them. I need a big one over here. Oh. And I'm gonna add a little bit more. And there, there, there. Put a couple here. And one in there. One in there. All right, almost done. Where else do I have glue? Oh, right there. But I need to flip this around. There. And one here. You could even probably keep going. But for time's sake, I'm going to try and finish up here. So that's what we have. Hoping it's focusing for you. And that's how you make the flower rhinestone pen with air dry clay. And I'm just gonna let it sit and dry. It should probably dry within a couple of, hours, like completely dry, but normally I let them sit overnight. They're really solid, like these are not falling off. So I hope that was helpful. If you want to see something more, like I said, you can buy these clay cutters on my website. Just message me and I'll send you the website. Yeah, if you have any other questions, just let me know. I also have a ton of these little charms and stuff if you want a little bag to try it out with. Yeah, so let me know if you thought that was helpful, and of course share any of your creations. Thanks guys, have a good night.